Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
Neglect of the regulated replacement dates and the rules of repair of the car often provokes a series of associated breakdowns. Let's consider how spark plugs are replaced on inline engines and what consequences should be expected if you do not monitor their service life. It is the inline internal combustion engines are most often found on models Kia, Renault, Skoda, Nissan, Toyota, Opel, VAZ, etc. Nevertheless, the above recommendations will be useful to owners of cars with V-shaped and opposition engines. How to change spark plugs with your own hands. Replacement of spark plugs, one of the simplest procedures in the list of works on engine maintenance. To perform it, you will need not only theoretical knowledge, but also tools, torque wrench. Is it possible to change spark plugs with an ordinary torque wrench? You can, but only if you have already changed spark plugs 10 to 20 times with a torque wrench and can trust your muscle memory. Of course, you will not have such a rich experience of replacement. From the article you will learn to what dire consequences lead to undercompressed or overcompressed plugs. Candle head. It is longer than an ordinary socket head, as a reserve is needed to go inside the insulator and the contact tip of the candle. Some types of heads have a built-in magnet or lock, which allows you to easily get the candle out of a deep well when replacing it. Extender. It is necessary for replacing plugs on cars with deep spark plug wells. Also with this type of construction it is highly desirable to have a compressor and a purge gun. Before replacing plugs, it is recommended to blow out the plug wells to prevent dirt from getting into the engine cylinders. A spanner or a spark plug wrench used to unscrew the old plugs. The list of tools will vary depending on the number and type of fasteners of the parts that will have to be removed before unscrewing the spark plugs. Refer to the repair and operating manual for exact information. Sequence of actions. The instruction is based on the example of Daewoo Matiz. Sequence of actions to replace spark plugs. Wait until the engine has cooled down completely. The plug with a metal threaded part must be unscrewed from the aluminum cylinder head. Due to the difference in thermal expansion coefficients when the engine heats up, the thread may bite. Remove the high voltage wires. To avoid damaging the GDP, when removing, pull the lugs, not the wires themselves. Blow out the spark plug wells. Getting debris into the combustion chambers is fraught with the formation of scoring on the surface of the cylinders, which will significantly accelerate the wear of the CPG. It is also possible to stick mud particles in places where the chamfer of the valve plate is pressed against the cylinder head seats. As a result, the engine will start to throb, there will be vibration, popping in the intake or exhaust manifold, the dynamics will deteriorate and fuel consumption will increase. Due to loose pressing of the plate to the seat, the heat dissipation deteriorates, which in case of long engine operation is fraught with valve burnout. Unscrew the old spark plugs. If the car will be parked on the street for a long time, or there are still repair works to be done in the underhood, the spark plug wells should be covered with pieces of clean rags. Screw in the new spark plugs by hand or only with a head and extension. You should feel that they are screwed in without any misalignment. Use a torque wrench to create a tightening force of 30 N*M. Factory recommended for Daewoo Matiz engine is 25 N*M, but a slight increase in tightening force is acceptable. Install the high voltage wires. Make sure that the GDP tip is tightly fixed on the contact tip of the plug. To check, you not only need to know what the air gap should be on your car spark plugs, but also have a set of feeler gauges. Tightening torque. What consequences can occur if the spark plugs are screwed in with a lower tightening torque during the replacement? Processed loss of compression. Exhaust gases after ignition of the fuel-air mixture will burst into the spark plug well. Destruction due to vibrations occurring during engine operation. After unqualified replacement, the service life is reduced, as the risk of micro cracks increases many times over. But even more dire consequences await you if after replacement the plug turns out to be heavily over-tightened. The ceramic insulator may crack due to excessive deformation, provoking a breakdown of the spark charge and malfunctions in the power unit. When screwing or unscrewing for replacement, an over-tightened plug may simply crack. But even the labor-intensive process of drilling out the broken part from the cylinder head will seem a stroke of luck compared to the damaged threads in the cylinder head. To restore it, you will have to screw in a special repair insert. All of these factors indicate that the recommended torque should be followed when replacing. Resource information about the frequency of spark plug replacement can be found in your vehicle's repair and operating manual. For example, for Daewoo Matais, the recommended service life varies from 25 to 30,000 kilometers, depending on the year of production and the features of the ignition system. Many drivers neglect the recommended intervals and think about replacement only when symptoms of spark plugs malfunction appear. The engine ticks. Difficult starting. Loss of dynamics, dips when pressing the throttle sharply. The engine runs intermittently in the zone of medium and high revolutions. Check engine lights up. On cars with the class of environmental tolerance not lower than -3 €, computer diagnostics is likely to show an error indicating ignition misses in one or several cylinders at once. Codes P0300, P0301, P0302, P0303, P0304, where the last digit corresponds to the numbering of cylinders. It is characteristic that if you swap the faulty and faulty plugs, the error number will change accordingly. Depending on the design of the engine ignition system, negligent approach to the timing of replacement is fraught with a reduction in the life of the coil, trampola, or spark plug modules. High voltage wires are also affected. Erosion of the electrodes occurs during operation. Reducing the thickness of the side contact in the spark breakdown zone leads to an increase in the air gap between the electrodes. It is the additional force required for spark formation that accelerates the wear of the engine ignition system elements. We recommend watching the video on which the master explains when to change spark plugs and why you should not ignore the prescribed service life. Assessing the condition of the engine by fouling. The presence on the spark plugs of a dense layer of black fouling, brown-colored plaque, oily deposits, including on the threaded area, does not indicate a malfunction of the spark plugs. But it shows well the presence of harmful additives in the fuel and allows you to assess the condition of the engine's CPG. The main reason to replace spark plugs: significant erosion of the side electrode, breakdown of the insulating layer. We recommend studying the signs of malfunction and the procedure for diagnosing spark plugs, as well as ways to check the condition of the engine on the fouling. Check spark plugs with your own hands. Torque tightening bolt cylinder head. Check spark adjusting the gap on the spark plug. Spark plug malfunctions photo. In conclusion, replacing your spark plugs is a straightforward task that can significantly improve your vehicle's performance and fuel efficiency. By following the steps we've outlined, you can ensure a smooth and successful replacement process. Remember to consult your vehicle's manual for specific details and recommendations. Regular maintenance, including spark plug replacement, is key to keeping your engine running smoothly. Thank you for watching, and happy driving!